Hey there, it's John from the Finite Playlist, and we're doing a quick breakdown of the God of War Ascension beta. I'm checking out a free-for-all mode called Favour of the Gods first of all, but before I even dive into that, you can see your player menu, kind of like a Call of Duty type of thing. You see your hero. I chose to align with the God of War himself, Ares. You can also align with Poseidon, Hermes, and I think it was Zeus. But you can see just popping through the options as you progress and level up standard stuff, you're going to be able to unlock new armour, chest plates, armour trousers, whatever the hell you call them. You can upgrade your weapon, you can do stuff in the matches, sort of like challenges, and that will unlock some weapons, and some you just find in treasure chests. So later on I'll be able to unlock a hammer if I want to. Still fairly early on in the process in this beta, and also you can see you can upgrade your abilities. At the moment I have, let's see, here's magic, so at the moment I just have a big fire spell, you see, but you can unlock a bunch more. The item that I'm using now is an escape, basically. I think it works as a combo breaker, but it also seems to be like a last chance slash last stand type thing when you're nearly dead. But yeah, there's plenty of stuff you can do, but yeah, into the game. In the beta you've got Favour of the Gods, which is a 4-player free-for-all, and in later videos I will show off the other modes, which is Team Favour of the Gods, which is the big one, where you see the massive Cyclops in the background that you've seen before, and the final one, which is Capture the Flag. But yeah, just for this one, it's Flavor of the Gods, or indeed Favour of the Gods.
The competition.
Right, so here we go. The guy likes to talk, so I'll just let him talk, do his thing.
Prove yourselves worthy by defeating your enemies and making sacrifices to the gods. Begin.
And there's me, as I say, four-player free-for-all, just in a little arena. Right now I picked the wrong fight at the beginning. I pick on this guy, and you can see just by the armour he's wearing, he's a lot of high level than me, and he smashes me to smithereens, for want of a better word. Yeah, wrong fight there, so I get smashed up. You can respawn pretty much instantly. You can also follow other players and a camera if you'd want to, but in neither any of the modes I've played, there's not been any hanging about. But yeah, back into the action. I've got to be honest, my performance in the first half of this match is pretty poor. So I got a little bit overexcited, just trying to smash everybody. I think if you play God of War before, you're going to be reasonably familiar with what you have to do. So you've got your basic light attack, which is square, a heavy attack, which can double up as a launcher on triangle. You can boot people to the face with circle, jump around obviously with X, and then block with L1. They've changed the parrying system from what you might be used to in God of War, and they've done that to compensate for slight latency, I think. Previously you'd have to just hit block at exactly the right time, but now you hit block and X, which will put a kind of bubble around you. It gives you a little bit longer to parry, and while purists might be a little bit fussy about that, I think probably it was the only way they could do it, and it also allows you to see if someone else is preempting you know, one of your strikes and trying to parry. So it's a system that works quite well. You'll see some parries soon, and there's good feedback when a parry happens, and that's a good way to launch back into the opponent. So yeah, what you're trying to do is kill everyone in true God of War style, and that gives favour to the gods, hence the name of the mode. There's a god up there, says it's Hercules, so it's the god, but who cares? And right, this is me getting brutally slaughtered. Oh, nasty. So yes, I mean, as you run out of energy, you get dropped down to no health, obviously, and then you're stunned, and an opponent gets a chance to hit R1 and finish you Mortal Kombat style, and you get to see some rather fucking brutal kills, to be honest. But yes, as I was saying, the basic aim of the game is as you kill your opponents, you get points, and they are favours to the gods, but they're just points to you and me. I think this one's first to 7,500. As you can see, I'm doing spectacularly with 0 points at this point. Again, failing, picking the wrong fights, jumping in, not really paying attention. Around the outside of the arena, there are chests occasionally where you can go and you might just pick up a bit of XP, but sometimes they have treasure in, as I talked about before. You can get new armour, new weapons, etc., and they're permanent upgrades to your character. Also, there'll be little, I guess you call them fountains. Sometimes they'll be green, and they can, there it is on the left, You can run over it and upgrade your health, like I do very slowly there. And sometimes they're blue, and that upgrades your mana or magic or whatever you want to call it. And yeah, you can unleash your magic attack. Now you see that wave that came down the screen, that was actually from the god. He was pissed off that no one had killed anyone for a while, so he just decided to unleash a torrent of blue down the screen, and that actually sent me and another dude off the cliff. So yeah, it pays to keep the death toll high, because it's got a war. So yeah, as you can see, not doing so well, getting smashed up, pretty disappointing, but enjoying myself, and you know, maybe things will turn around in a little bit. Grab the health before that guy there and start smashing people up. There are heavier attacks on L1, so you hold L1 and press square or triangle, and they will unleash the heavier versions, but they're more telegraphed. So it has some like reasonably, I'm not going to say complicated, but reasonably significant fighting game systems. So you know, this is a brawler after all. This isn't a standard fighting game, but there is an element of sort of spatial awareness. There are elements of pacing, timing, and the best thing that is the ultimate thing about any fighting game are mind games. So you can get into one-on-one combat like I do here, and even though he messes me up, there's an element of, you know, he preempted my strike, so I messed up, left myself open. That's the purity of fighting, really. And yeah, this captures it quite well and does it in a way that isn't going to get spoiled by any potential lag. In this mode, it's reasonably easy to see your character. I have to say, I'll do a later video on the other mode, and it can be a bit of a melee then, it can be a bit of a mess to see who's who, but this is still a beta, of course. Here, I think this is about the time I start actually turning my fortunes around and remembering that I do know how to play God of War, and I ain't actually as bad as these people. Maybe not just yet. It just managed to get out of that death animation by hitting L2, that was my ability. And yes, back in the game, smash someone up, grabbing some orbs. Now it's time to start laying the smack down with my guy who looks a bit like Kratos, who has a giant sword but isn't Kratos. A good way to grab kills is obviously, it doesn't take a genius to talk about it, but is to check other people's health bars. And you know, there's nothing really wrong with watching two guys have a ruck, seeing who's got lowest health and just stabbing him in the back. You know, they'll do it to you just as quickly as you do it to them. So that's a sensible way to play, instead of being the honourable man and diving headfirst into a battle with a guy full armour as I did at the beginning. Wicked found treasure of the gods. So yeah, I think that ends up being a piece of armour, so I won't be so useless in the next battle. But yeah, I'm putting together a nice little run here, I think. You know, putting it on these guys. It's hard to tell. There's not like a massive amount of combos because it is God of War. God of War is a game more about timing, parries. Obviously you've got the dodge and the right stick, which I did mention as well, which works really nicely. And the reaction time on that, there's no latency, there's no input delay in the beta, is instantaneous or as good as. So you can genuinely use that in your combos nicely, and that goes across all the modes. And there you can see, you know, there I managed to parry that guy's strike. Oh, no, he messed me up. And yes, cheeky guy, remember this, he ran off to go and get a treasure midway through a fight with me. How disrespectful is that? So yeah, I had to let him have it after that. You can't go around behaving like that, even in ancient Greece. So yeah, ruckus time, that spinning overhead double cannonball type move, we've both got it, that's the standard. I think he must be aligned to, yeah, smashed him up. He must be aligned to Ares as well, that dude. So unfortunately, despite my comeback, I did lose quite spectacularly because of that horrendous start. But yes, good fun. It's not going to be the type of game that takes over your life like a COD or a Battlefield, but it makes a nice change from those sorts of games as well so far. Check out my second video later as well for the much more significant team Favour of the Gods mode. You can see after each battle you get your upgrades and whatnot. Standard stuff. All that they've taken what works, you know, out of other videos, and that was a wise move. So yes, thanks for listening, thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out the podcast at thefiniteplaylist.com. That's Chet and John's podcast, and you know, if you wouldn't mind just hitting the like button. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe. We're going to have a ton of content coming out. So that would be awesome. Thank you very much, guys, and we'll see you again. Peace.